Hello, this is Jan16 and we're back with part 3 of the O-Gauge diorama. So in the last episode, in part 2, I said I would do these back scenes and it was too awkward to film because I had to leave them overnight to dry and that. So it took a while, but they are dry now. And I did show you how I was going to do that in part 2, so if you want to go back to part 2, I'll put a link in the description. This is just the just because, really. So here it is. As one more scene, I'm just going to move the Lego pops. This is what held the board up for the night, and they've done a good job because it did not move once. So let's just put that in the center. So there we go, the back scenes are secured. Still a bit of glue around here, but that's okay. It's dry enough. I'll show you the clamp I'm using. Let me just undo it. I bought these from a pound shop about 5 years ago. They ain't that good. I haven't used them for a long time. This first time using them since I had the old saffron line layout in the shed. But they worked out really well with this. I have got these plastic clips, which I actually broke one. It turns out they're not that good for this. They're alright for. I use these for the Metcalf kits, but no good for this really. It's a bit too big to clamp the wood. So that one broke, but I got 100 more, so I'm not too worried about that. So what we're going to do today, once I move the clamp out of the way, we're going to put the filling in of the newspaper. This board is stuck pretty good. It's a bit loose at the back here, but I'm not too worried about that. I can sort that out another time. So I'm going to leave the pipe for this for another video, probably part 4 or part 5. So we need some newspaper, and got some newspaper here. So what we need to do is get a piece and just wrap it up like this, and what we're going to do is place them down here in the gap. Now I am going to glue these in, so we'll need my ketchup bottle with the glue, which is here. Just sort the end out, sometimes it does dry up, and we're going to fill this area with glue. Now you don't really have to spread this because the paper is just going on it. The more is probably better in this case. I'll put it this way actually. There we go. Now, the only thing with newspaper, it will rise, come back up where it like unravels itself. That's not a problem because when I put the plaster Paris over, the plaster Paris is going to be wet, and it'll go on top of this and flatten it back down. So you can push it down if you want to, but like I said, it will go flat again with the plaster Paris. So we got some areas to fill in. So let me just grab another piece. Whoops, dropped it. I got plenty of newspaper for this mock. Now I want a smaller bit for this corner in there. Now I don't really need to glue that down because that's a tight fit. That's secured in there. Also, when I do the plaster Paris, I'll probably put another layer on top a bit higher and then flatten it down when it's wet. So what we've got to remember is the river that's going across here, and we're going to have the pipe. It's probably going to come to about here and then go around. It's only going to be a small, not even a river, like a ditch really. I still haven't cut these off, so we'll do that as well. But I want to fill this area in behind the end of the track, so let's just grab the glue again. And there we go. So I'll just wrap that into a ball, place that down there. Now I got to be careful the other side because the river, so here I'm going to put the newspaper in, but I am thinking about doing a bit of a wooden retaining wall. So the river's got like a wooden wall here. This side's got to be dirt, just a normal dirt bank. But this side I'm thinking of having a bit of a retaining wall. And I thought about making that out of matchsticks, just to give it some detail. But I also want a little bridge crossing over this way, because I'm thinking about having the plate layers hut this side or the lamp hut. I'm not too sure yet. But I think I will have that over here. So we're going to put more in. There's a bit too much glue over there, so I'm just going to make sure that don't run off the table, but it shouldn't. We should be alright. So let's put that there. And what I want to do now is, sorry, that just went too close to the camera. We'll mark this out some glue. I don't want to put too much because of the river. I'm looking forward to doing the river because I haven't done a river now for about 4 years. So where's my piece of paper? There it is. I know I had it handy. So let's get a pencil first. Actually, I just got to mark out where I roughly want the river. This board's really hard to draw on because of it's like different pieces of wood put together. It's basically recycled wood. That's okay though, I can see that. It's just so I know when the newspaper's on, I know where it needs to go to. Right. Now it's going to look quite messy, but that is all that needs to be done here, because I can't fill this in until I've done the edges around here, which I'm hoping to build today, and I'll do that in the next video, in part 4. So the other thing I've worked on is cutting the track to go on here. Now again, I didn't film this in the video because cutting the track is quite difficult, and O-gauge track is a little bit more difficult. But here it is. I'll show you how we've done it. I'm just going to make sure it fits. This is the first time putting it on. Yep, it's a good fit. The only thing I need to do is trim at the back of here. So I'm going to have to trim it down at the back, but not too much because of the buffer stop that will be going on the end, which is about there. So if the buffer stops here, which this will be where it's put, so let's get a wagon. We're using a different wagon today, a Stewart and Lloyd's Limited wagon. Again, this is a Dapple wagon. I've done a review on this. You can find that on my YouTube, on the channel. So that's what we're thinking. That's roughly where the wagon's gonna come, and when I take the pictures. Now the locomotives are a little bit bigger. They're gonna come to about here. So there's still plenty of room. I do think I could have done with a bigger piece of board, but I'm happy. It's okay. So let's take the wagon off. We are going to glue the track down. Now with these points, these are Pico points, and they're cheap. I think they're about £2 I paid for this one. I glued it together, but I will be detailing this up in one of the parts in the series, probably later on when I start weathering the track and adding the ballast. But I'll just make sure the camera's okay. Yeah, we're okay for time. So this point, these unclip here, and that's how it sticks to the track. So what I think I might have to do is fit it to the track first because of the design of the point. I don't know, I'd probably fit it after. We will fit it to the track. I think we will, because I'm still weathering the buffer beam over here, the buffers. Now the end of the track, I can still cut them when the track is glued down, because they overhang here and it does not have to be that tidy. But I do think maybe have the grass bank built up a bit, and the rails will just run off. After all, this is just a siding. This would have just been put there. So the track probably don't need cutting. So let's put these points on. I've got to remember how to do this now. I took them off the track yesterday, and as it turns out, it's the same piece of track. I could have kept them on, but Right, let's see if I can get it right. Actually, we're probably better slipping the backs on first. I think they just slip on through the rails like so. And I do think I'm going to add a little bit of wood to the front of these buffers just to give it a bit of a cushion when the trains hit it. Something they've done in real life on the British Rail and that. That's not exactly working. There we go. Turns out I glued it really well. My super glue I use is really good glue, which is good. So there we go. That's the buffer beam added. I call it buffer beam. Really, that's the buffer beam. That's the buffers. So we'll call it buffers from now. Sorry if I just nudged the camera there. So that's it. Now I gotta make sure the rails don't come right to the end, which they don't. So that's okay. And next thing is to glue it down. Now before I do that, I want to fix this down here. So the best way to fix that at the moment is, I would say, a piece of wood going across there. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I could probably glue the track and do it after, but I want to do this properly. So I'll find out a solution and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now, I went away, I thought I'll find a solution to secure this. What I'm going to do is glue the track anyway and put some glue underneath there and hold this down with something heavy, and I'll let that glue, and then when I start part 4 it'll be all glued down nice and we can get on with what I'm going to do in part 4. So yeah, we'll leave that for now and sort that out after the video. Basically all I'm going to do is lift it up ever so slightly, get some glue under there and re-glue it. I think it's come out from when I moved it. So we're going to glue this, we're going to glue the track down. Now I'm not using pins as I mentioned before, just because it's only a diorama. Trains are not going to be running on it. It's just to take pictures, so I don't have to worry about the track moving about and that. It's going to be secured enough with a bit of glue, and I'm not going to take it up after. This is not building it, destroying it after. I'm going to build it and keep it for pictures. So it'll probably end up going in my window, just for show. And built a diorama. Well, I built a 00 gauge one, which I mentioned in a previous video, part 1 I think. Now I'm not going to put it right to the edge. Probably put a little bit too much glue on, but that's okay, it'll just dry up. Also, I finished cutting these off whilst I paused the video trying to find a solution to this over here. Now you don't want too much glue because once you put the track on, with 0 gauge it's a bit easier because when you put the track on, the glue's not going to go straight to the rails because the track's bigger. When you're doing it with 00, it does. So that's something to watch out if you're doing 00. But there we go, I think that's plenty. So we'll just wipe that down here. This is the piece of paper from yesterday. This dried up like I said it would, and now it's really smooth. So here we go, let's put the track down. Now just make sure the rails are straight. I want the track quite straight. I did mention in part 1 that I don't like just straight piece of track. I meant when it was going long ways like this, I want the track on an angle, not the actual track being bent. So if I just place it down, I'll get the rails straight to the edge. Now I'm going to need my ruler, which is somewhere. I don't know where I put it now. Oh, where did I put that? I always lose something. That's alright, we don't need my ruler, we can use this. Use my knife, let's just pull it away. And it's just to get, make sure the track's right to the edge, which it is, that's perfect. I've got some glue on my fingers. Also, it's very useful to have a piece of tissue around if you're working with PVA, as PVA can be sometimes quite messy. Now, problem with this track is it needs securing down now. So when the glue sets, it's not going to lift or anything. And because the board's a bit bent over this end, it's lifting in the middle here. So I'm going to have to put some weight on it. Now, I don't know what you got around the house, likewise, if you're building a diorama. I could use the Lego pots again if I wanted to. They are very heavy, and that's worked out fine. But I'm going to take that off for now because I'm going to glue this back corner. Now, how am I going to do this? Well, I've thought about putting a bit of glue. Let's put glue over the back actually. I might put too much, but that's okay. And I need to push the glue under using a piece of paper. I could do actually with, bear with me, I didn't think this through. I'm going to put a bit of glue on the end here. Now, reason for that is the gap's not that massive, so it should be alright, but there we go. And I probably can't use that piece of paper again, but that's okay, I'm happy with that. I got another envelope I can rip up, or use the same one. So the track's not 100% straight to the board, but that's okay. And the track's got to be really weathered. I want to do that before I do scenery. So let's put some weight on it. I'll put a piece on this end, a large Lego piece. And we need something really heavy. That's not going to be heavy enough. Here's my dog again. She can't come in now, the door's shut properly. And the hammer is perfect, so I'm going to put the hammer like this. There we go. And now, as long as no one hits the table, that should be alright. And make sure the track hasn't moved at the ends. Nope, it's still fine, yep. And just got to make sure I don't move the hammer. There we go. And I think that's it. I think I could put a little bit more weight down if I wanted to. Can I? Yeah, there we go. So it looks a bit messy at the moment, but that's great. So that's the end of this part 3, and that's good news. So thanks for watching, and we'll go to part 4.